Hi, everybody. Welcome to Yogacises. I have Gala Marquez here. I'm really excited to have her on. Thank you for taking your time to do this.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. All right. So we connected on Facebook in a group, and she teaches yoga, mindfulness in a few different settings. Wide variety of experience. I know she also does retreats. I've interviewed a few people that do retreats, so it's very common nowadays, and especially, like, it could be done anywhere. So you have a lot of, you know, opportunities for different retreats in this field. So I'll let Gala take over. So begin with your story, how you started your whole mindfulness, meditation, yoga journey.
Well, I wanted to thank you again for having me on. My journey starts, I want to say my journey starts about years ago. Probably was a child. We all have this spiritual, I want to say, give it a name, side that as we're a child, we always have in tune. So, I've always been like a witchy. I have always had buried, I play with crystals, all those kind of things. I was born in Mexico, but raised in South America, where it's very common to work with nature. And so I became a holistic esthetician 18 years ago. And that took me into, well, sometimes, skin is related to your emotions. Your emotions are types of energy that get kind of stuck. So I started working with um, myself, curing things that happened all along the path. I lived abroad for 21 years. And in that process, I'm very close to my mom. My mom had a surgery. So in the distance, everything magnifies. And in order to keep kind of saneness together, I would meditate. And those days we didn't really have technology to be able to connect or not connect. So it was like Skype basically. And that was it. That was like open on my desk 24 hours while she was, in surgery and stuff. So finding mindfulness and finding meditation is a way of I could keep present moment and, make sure everything's okay. And this is, years ago, and her health now is just fabulous and wonderful. I live in San Diego, California now, and I've been living here for the last 5 years. It's a very mystical and fabulous area of the country where, yogis and mindfulness and meditation is very in vogue, and it's a very strong community, and I have the blessing to belong to. I've taught in different scenarios. I've taught in yoga studios. I've collaborated with a foundation that's called Prison Yoga Program that works in the prisons to bring yoga to the inmates, which is a fabulous program, and I love to collaborate with them. And then I do privates. I do a lot of mindfulness meditation instructions. I work with the senior community a lot, which is a fabulous community, and it's just bringing their awareness to the new era of mindfulness and meditation, how healthy it is, and how, they say more meditation and less medication. And I think that's kind of my idea of bringing to the world. We got to leave a nice path when we go, and I think this is a way to do it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Skype is, now technology. There's so many different ways to teach people this. And it's amazing how it can help spread the knowledge of meditation and yoga, right? So in prison, so what is that like? Like I have similar experience with it before, but just like want to hear from your experience, like how the transformation for your clients and how it has helped you, like in terms of just everything.
Well, it makes you understand it makes you see from a different perspective how wonderful the meditate, because at the end of the day, yoga is as well as a meditation. It's just a movement meditation. It makes you stay for a few seconds present in one moment, and if you're really always present in that in a moment, if I think it flows a little bit better. So everybody benefits from it, regardless of what your scenario is. You'd be surprised how much people that are outside have less knowledge of what they're really doing than the people that are inside the prisons, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, my students inside the prison are fab. They're doing. I mean, it's just wonders what they can do. How to just stop and breathe. Literally, just stop and breathe. It's a different. It's a different population. No, there's certain things that you don't do just because, but you don't adjust but it's yoga is yoga no matter where it is. It's union. So of course, inside, outside, everywhere in the park, in the nature, it's really fabulous. As I said, I do live in San Diego where the community is huge, but I think you're in New York, right? And I think there's a big yoga community there as well. You guys do fun things in the summer, and then in the winter do other types of, it's like wellness retreats that now you can do anywhere, reach to the whole world and say, hey, let's meet up. In my case, is I have a retreat in Spain in September from the 2nd to the 8th of the north part of Spain. I lived there for a couple of years. So of course I did my yoga practice there first. So it's fun to be able to do it in different languages. I can do it in Spanish and in English. So it's interesting. And it's just, you get to, it's wonderful to be able to reach a grand.
Yeah, definitely. So when you teach, what specific techniques or method that you approach you like the most when you teach?
So I've done different types of training. So I did a training in a yoga that's called Yoga Nidra. It's a type of a resting yoga. So I basically do a few movements of restorative, and then I just put you into a deep shavasana. That would be a class if it's a yoga class. And then mindfulness meditation is indicated depending on the level of every person. We can do different types of guided meditation to concentrate on your different types of chakras. If you have a block, if you don't have a block, if you know what they are, if you don't know what they are, just to be present in, just depending on what the client needs are. As I said before, I've worked with crystals, so you can meditate toward crystals in order to have that crystal help you out during the day, because crystals are energy as well, but that's a whole nother probably podcast to talk about. There's just breathing. It's very important just to stop and breathe. So.
Right. So, I mean, for those that don't know what Yoga Nidra is, so what is Yoga Nidra? Because
it translates directly to I rest. It takes you in. So we have brain waves. I don't know if everybody's aware of that. We have different brain waves, and we are normally in beta all the time. So in order to get to that sleep, that deep sleep, we go into alpha. So we get into that. And that in between those both brain waves, that guides you. That's where the Yoga Nidra takes you. It takes you to a deep rest, but not falling 100% asleep. Did that make sense?
It does. So for those that tend to fall asleep during Yoga Nidra, would they still benefit from it?
Totally, because it stays in your subconscious. That's always there.
All right. And Yoga Nidra, you do it with the clients laying down on the mat, or the
client can be laying down on the mat. You can actually kind of just like sit, comfortably, depending on the studio, depending on the client. But the studio, for example, you can, get comfortable into the bolsters and pillows and do a few restorative poses in order to be comfortable, not to rest. I rest is the Western version of Yoga Nidra. If you Google I rest, it would give you the full explanation of how it came into the Western world as well. Richard Miller is the psychiatrist that brought it into to the Western side of the world. So you can relax them, or you can sit up in a comfortable position. Of course, you can lay down. Depends on what you're comfortable with.
And how long your sessions usually are?
45 minutes of Yoga Nidra, and then you can do meditation. I have a morning class, beginner's mindfulness meditation, that is just in order to drop and fall into present moment. I can do that in Spanish and in English. That's a 25-minute class.
And do you have music in the background playing, or just side?
I can have sound healing instruments, singing bowls, charms. Yes, I do have sounds. Music, yeah, it is kind of music, depending on the level of each client. You can put some kirtan in the back if you feel like it, or some clients prefer just to hear your voice.
That's awesome. Yeah. um, so with the besides the prison and the meditation, mindfulness, and you mentioned you do retreats. So tell
I
us
do
more about.
wellness retreats. Yes, I do wellness retreats internationally. I have the blessing to be collaborating with Alka Wellness Center, Yoga and Wellness Center. It's a center that's here in San Diego. She will be leading the yoga part of the retreat. That would be, so we're doing a retreat in the northern part of Spain. It's called El Bosque Encantado, which would translate to the Enchanted Woods. It's in the northern part of Spain. It's in between the Basque Country and Galicia. It's in a woody area that overlooks the sea. So it's just a magical area. It has like unicorns and fairies and fabulous creatures all over. The food is wonderful. September is an extraordinary, it's fall, so it's an extraordinary time to go to the northern part of Spain. We'll have yoga, meditation, mindfulness eating. There's walks, there's trekking. We're going to be doing paddle boarding. We get to hike the woods. If you can do to go down to the town and get on the horses. I mean, it's just going to be a fabulous, fabulous experience for anybody and everybody. It's every type of level of yoga, any type of mindfulness. It's just a minute to disconnect and recharge and go back to the roots. And Spain is just such a fabulous destination. It's just so magical, and it has so much, and it's so rich. It's so worth to know. And I have the privilege of that. I lived there for several years, so of course it's just a enchanted, wonderful area to go and recharge, because we need to stop and recharge and remember that Mother Nature, and is there to nurture us, and as we nurture her, she can nurture us. So it's just a fabulous experience. From the 2nd to the 8th of September, you fly into Madrid, and then from Madrid you can or fly into Asturias or training. I highly recommend the training because it's so worth seeing the greens and the different tones of the area as you go up on the train. And then we pick you up and start enjoying nature and nurturing.
That's awesome. Sounds so good and relaxing. So for the retreats, for this one in particular, how long is that? How many days? And on average, like your other retreats vary from how many days to how many days?
They go, if they're, so this is six, it's 6 days, 7 nights. So you normally, if they're local, it would probably be like 2 or 3 days, but internationally it's more, it's kind of like the whole week, because you want to be able to enjoy. It's a long flight regardless of wherever you're coming from. If you're not coming from Europe, the flight will take you. You want to be able to rest a little bit. So it's normally that time. It's normally a week. Retreats I normally do. I haven't done anything longer yet than 7 days. Shorter, yes, you can do day retreats, from dusk to dawn retreats, or 24-hour retreats, a day retreat where you just spend, 12 hours at a spa and just relax. There's always ways to disconnect, but this is a 7 days is a good pattern. It's like 21 days in order to get, a 7-day cleanse is always good. 21 days. The numbers are interesting. So 7 is a good number to be able to recharge those batteries that we need to be recharged.
Okay, so you guys do themes like on each day, or just as a whole for the retreat?
Well, there is a schedule of activities that we do have scheduled for, that's included in the package that has the program. The thing is that the space is just so magical. The area at the retreat center, as I say, it's a wood, so you have like a swimming pool, and you have arts, because originally it was a old sculpture school, so you have like art crafts to do, and you can have like massages done there and other things. But there is a schedule. We wake up, we have breakfast, there's days that we're going to go, we have a certain hike that we want to show the guests to, and then there's like yoga classes in the morning or meditation in the morning, and then you have another class in the afternoon. There's a few days that we have like, okay, you can, everybody's free to do what you want. You have paddle classes. There's certain walks in the woods that we want them to go to, but you're always free to relax right next to the pool and, read a book all day long in the nature, and that's it. It's your timing too. But there are activities. Yes, we have program activities for each day of the week. A circle when they leave, there's different things that the region of Asturias has to offer that would be wonderful for people to see, and it's very close to everything. So there's things that's programmed, but you can check out on my website. It's called yagamagowellness.com. And you can check out the information there and the pricing and all that kind of stuff. We do have an early bird season coming up soon because it's September 2nd. So I think the last early bird would probably be like at the end of this month. And I'm not too sure yet. I got to double check that. I don't remember right now. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely post that information in the description once the video is uploaded and the podcast. So for the capacity of participants for these retreats.
11. It's a group of 11 people. 11 people, including the instructors. And well, of course, then you have extra help. You have the people that are from the region that help us with the hikes, and they have organized all the paddle boards. And if our guest wants to do bike rides or hiking or wants to do something else, we'll need a guide, or there's cooking classes. There is a variety of activities that they can hire extra to do there. So they have that staff, that's the qualified staff to do all those kind of things. So it's a fun group. It's a nice size of the group.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, I'm just thinking from a yoga teacher or meditation teacher's perspective in terms of like the planning. How long do you guys start planning this in advance?
I don't know. Everybody's different. It took me a year, almost 2 years to plan one. Once you do one, the thing is that I've done events in the past. So I've always done events. I used to host events. They were called yoga brunches. I did them on yachts. I did them in various scenarios. I did them for the vets at the Veterans Museum. We did them. We hosted a beauty event in this little barn that's in North Park, I believe, in San Diego. I mean, it's just a bigger of an event kind of scenario.
And on average, each year, how many events do you do or retreats do you do a year?
4. It would be 1 per season, so to say.
Okay, yeah, we're just gonna ask, since you mentioned 4, I was like, it's probably going by the season though.
And it would not always be in the same spot. It is always Europe it is for now always Spain, because Spain is very comfortable for me and I speak the language, so I'm good. But the next one would probably be like the beach area of Spain, like Malaga or close to Barcelona, or because that's just a fabulous area as well. And then, you start following me on Instagram and you'll see all my new retreats coming up. I do like to do things here local, but the things that I do local are very small events. I do like tea gatherings and different little things around the area that I live that are always fun too. Workshops and little things like that.
Speaking of tea, because right before we started this recording, I saw you were drinking tea. So what type of tea do you like to drink?
This is a tea. So I just got back from Venezuela, and Venezuela has a lot of wonderful nature stuff. And so it's called malojillo. I couldn't tell you what it is, and it's like a lemongrass type of tea. So my dad would bring it to me. I love tea. Tea is like a ritual for me. I pour it a certain way and drink it a certain way. I use a certain type of water too. So I think tea is a fabulous ritual. It's one of my rituals in the morning. And herbs you can really cure with herbs. So if you get a relationship with your herbs, I think it can help you. And malojillo helps with the different things of detoxing and helping cleanse, because in the morning I have the impression that everything is like kind of stuck, so you got to get everything moving inside in order to activate. And it is still early over on this side of the world.
Yeah, I'm a tea drinker too, and I've been drinking raspberry leaf tea. That's a good one for women. Yeah.
I've heard. Well, raspberries all berries are fabulous for women.
The raspberry leaf.
Raspberry leaf. Interesting. So do you buy the leaf and just burn the leaf, or do you buy it already in bags?
Buy them in bags. It's just more convenient that way.
I wonder if they sell them. I wonder if they sell. And what is it beneficial for?
It's for female reproductive health, just like in general.
Yeah, berries.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that last night. Well, I assisted to a women's circle last night for the moon and different things that they do here. And it was actually, she spoke about a tea. I don't know, I'd have to look up the name. I don't remember the name of the tea. And it's a berry type tea too. It's called Shisandra, and it's a berry. It's a small little red berry that falls. It looks like grapes, but they're more like acid. Shisandra, and it's a female tea as well. It helps you become a superwoman, superpowers. Apparently.
That's cool. Can you send the name of it to me later? Because I'm curious. I want to look it up.
Yeah, definitely. Here, I'll send it. I'm not 100% sure that this is the way they write it, but I think this, if you look it up, and then it gives you the option to like burr with different types of tea. I like doing the leaf because it gives a different taste. And it's really interesting because I have a friend that travels. He's a So that was a wonderful event that I went to last night, and yes, thank God here in San Diego there's a big community of wellness and mindfulness and yoga and a lot of just fun stuff to do. So that's why we're taking a little bit of that part to Europe and bringing the idea is to have people come with us, but whoever wants to come is more than welcome. Come with us from San Diego so they have an idea, because California has a very similar vibe and San Diego has a very similar vibe to the northern part of Spain, which is very interesting. So I get to show that too, because today it's great. For example, here in June, it's called June Gloom on this side of the world.
Wow. So. That's cool. I mean, I've been there a few times, but I really don't know much about that area.
Yep.
Oh yeah. This is random, but you mentioned crystals, and I know you said it could be another whole podcast episode all by itself. But can you just touch up a little bit on that? Because I'm into crystals too, but I never really got into it. Like, what are some of the maybe give some examples of like some specific crystals for specific focus?
Well, but crystals are minerals, and minerals are I believe that are alive, and they carry a lot of energy. They're very, 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 very powerful energetically. So crystals help, because we are energy as well, and so crystals help potential your vibrance, right? So for example, I always recommend, and it's a classic, but it's a very easy one, rose quartz. Everybody needs a little bit of self-love all the time. You always need to make sure that you remind yourself that you're doing a good job, regardless. Men, women, you got to remind yourself of that. And rose quartz is a good one to carry with you because it reminds you, it keeps that energy in check, and it's a good idea to, you carry it in a pocket. Some ladies carry it in their bra. It doesn't, crystal quartz, it's a classic as well, but it will always keep you protected. It will always protect you from whatever. It doesn't have to be a good or bad, although everybody says there's a yin and there's yang, there's a dark and a light. It doesn't always have to be that. It just does not resonate with your energy. It doesn't vibe good with you. That doesn't mean that it's really, really terrible. It's just in your everybody is different. That's why your vibe attracts your tribe. That's why you end up surrounding yourself by people that are similar and to you, in order to keep that kind of flowing in the same direction, and everybody is different, and it's a matter of respecting, and so crystals help you just keep that kind of in check. And those two, for example, are a perfect wants to carry around and to have. It's you can find them. Then every crystals are very personal. You can be attracted to their color, to their shape, to their vibrance, to the way they look, to if they're rough, if they're soft. Because crystals look different once they're polished, and when they're rough, they look one thing, and then they're polished and they look different. So we can relate to different colors, and they do have different colors. And then they vibrate. Every color vibrates different with every chakra as well. And so going back to energies, we have 7 chakras and 7 circles of energies is kind of what keeps our body in a flow motion. So you have crystals to work with that. It's beautiful. It's fabulous. Crystals are very fun. You can do intentions with crystals. There's a variety of things that you can do with crystals.
I'm not at a point where my practice is deep enough to actually see the colors. I mean, I see colors of the crystals, but I meant like the energy that it sends out and things like that. I don't know if you're able to experience, like, and actually feel. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm asking the question clearly.
I'm sorry. No. What is the question? If you're not, because I got you.
It's like aura reading. Like, are you able to sense how the crystals able to help you or heal you, or how you can?
Okay, I'm gonna ask you. Okay, yeah, I understand what you're. I'm gonna ask you this: have you ever put your hand, stared at your hand for a while in front of a white wall?
Not really.
Okay, so you can do that for one day. For a while, just stare at your hand, and then see if you ever, and the thing is that you can't, or everybody's different, but I don't think you have to. It's like, okay, when you start to meditate, close your eyes, go and blink. You're already thinking. That's not necessary, in my opinion. As you meditate, things come and go. The same thing with your auras and energies. And so you're telling me, like, for example, the chakras, you don't feel. Do you feel the chakras? Is that like the question? If I feel the chakras, or I can feel the energy of the colors?
Of how the crystal is impacting you.
Well, the crystals impact on the levels of my chakras. Yes. And can I feel it? Yes, I can personally can, but everybody has a different, journey, and everybody feels different. It's like, do you know what Reiki is? It's healing with energy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Reiki, one of the main things of the healing is healing your chakras, because it's our centers. They are our centers of energy. As I said in the beginning, we are energy. So of course it helps, once you're in tune with that, you can feel it. And at some point, a healer, if you're not there yet, because it's not that you don't have it, it's just that you're not there. On my opinion, everybody has a different journey. But you can find people that actually can help you with that, and see if they're aligned close to, Have you ever had a Reiki session done?
No.
Definitely recommended. And I would probably and then you can even have a Reiki session done, in the distance. But for now, I'm sure you'll have somebody in any of these interviews. Have you had any? You haven't had any podcasts with Reiki masters?
I have, for the past 2 or 3 episodes. They're all Reiki practitioners as well as yoga teachers. Just happen to.
Oh, that is so funny.
Yeah.
I practice Reiki on myself. I think I keep it to myself.
It's interesting.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's like a personal ritual, so to say, thing. I keep it, yeah. But I do know fabulous practitioners, that are wonderful, that love to, and of course that's where I get to go, okay, well, now I get to get in tune again. And that's one area here that is just marvelous. We have a fabulous community of healers.
Awesome. Yeah, I know I experienced the chakras, that energy, but it's just not with the crystals. They don't do that enough to have the connection with crystals.
Do you have a crystal shop close? Because see, I'm a big fan of touching. So do you have a crystal shop close to where you're located?
Yes.
Okay. Walk into the shop and see what resonates with you. It could be anything. amber, it could be turquoise, it could be tiger eye, it could be so many different, you know, colors or textures, because the textures give it a different tone. I like texture stones a lot.
I will probably just get everything from the store if I could, because I love crystals. It just
See, well, there you go. So you're ready. You know, it does give off a different type of vibe. You know, it's like salt. All my rooms have salt lamps, for example. My living room, my bedrooms, my kitchen area, the kitchen dining area, all have salt lamps, and they're always on. So it's a way of curing the area. I live under a plane path, so it's now loud. I have certain crystals around the windows. You know, you gotta keep that energy flowing a little bit.
oh yeah. Speaking of you said you place the crystals at the window. Do you look into feng shui as well, like where to position them?
I have, yes. I think feng shui is wonderful. I don't. There's certain things that I can't feng shui in my house because of the way it's built. It's not feng shui. It's funny because people don't, you know, whoever's not aware of it doesn't see those things. So of course the construction ends up being a random construction. I mean, it's fine. If you don't know anything about feng shui, you would never notice it either. You know what I mean? But yes, I do look into it a lot. There's just certain things that in my house I can't do. I had to like distribute, and it's like, yeah, but it doesn't look good. So we got to just like put it back. And then, you know, in corners, I do have crystals in corners in order to move the energy. That is more feng shui than anything. That's one of the things that got me into crystals was feng shui, because they work straight points with round crystals that are slightly off, that when the light hits it, they're always colorful, you know, like disco balls. Those are like those are the first crystals I ever had in my house, and they were, you know, they made out of crystal. Then, you know, you just kind of look into, oh, there's different types of crystals. So that's kind of how I got into feng shui. But yes, I do look into it. I think it's a fabulous technique.
That's awesome. I'm loving this all, like, you know, different things we talked about.
Well, good. Yeah, well, you know, it all is related in one way or another. Energy is there's one thing that keeps it flowing. It's probably love. So this is a way of nurturing. If you love yourself, you know, you can give out love, and you nurture yourself when you go to a yoga class. You nurture your mind when you stop and meditate. Then you can nurture and you can help somebody else a little bit. So it's all making it to continue to flow in a positive way.
Okay. Let's see. I don't know. I'm running out of questions.
You're running out of questions?
Yeah. So what else would you like to share with us?
Well, I don't know. Well, you know, my wellness retreats, we have different the different locations. We have the beach area. It's located in an area that's called Costa Riba de Sella. It has a river. The northern part of Spain is famous for their meat, of course. It's interesting. The northern part of Spain is the southern part of Ireland. Ireland, the southern part of Ireland is Cork, and that would be the ocean that would connect to the northern part of Spain. So that's kind of interesting detail of geographic. I don't know. Do you record? This gets recorded, and then you cut it, and you put. How does this work?
I pretty much don't really cut it. It's just like I just upload the recording.
And how long is the recording?
It's usually depending on how long the questions and the answers and things like that. They're usually like about 30 to 60 minutes.
Okay, so I don't know. What else would you like to know?
I don't know. Oh yeah. So do you dress or do you focus on colors as well with your practice?
That is so interesting. So I started using colors going back to when my mother has one kidney from that surgery that I spoke about in the beginning. she has one kidney left, which is totally fine because we can work with one kidney. But I did, I was raised, my mom's Jewish and I was raised Catholic, but I believe in angels. I believe in archangels. We got 7 of them that take care of us. They all vibrate in different colors, and they all have a certain day that is like their day of the week. You know, Michelangelo would probably be, you know, Archangel Michael would probably be the most famous one. Then you got Raphael, you got Uriel, you got different ones. So in that period of time, as I say in The Distant Everything Magnified, I did prayer and, you know, ask and meditate towards certain things. And one was the archangels. And every day they have a different, so it's 7. So I got to for a period of time in my life, I wore their colors in my underwear every day of the week, regardless of whatever I had on. I would make sure that my underwear was blue on certain days, red on the other, green on the other, orange on the, you know, to make sure that it would combine with each archangel. So in order that I would be like, make sure everything that my mom was going through would be fine, she would be protected and all those kind of things. So that, yes, I have done it. I don't do it now. No, I don't. Kundalini, depending on the class that you go to, you normally go dressed in white because it's pure. But no, I don't anymore.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all the questions I have for the moment.
How did you get into doing this?
Well, it started with this marketing sales funnel type of challenge that I was in. It was a 30-day challenge, and halfway through the 30-day challenge, the guy's like, doesn't matter where you are, just publish for 365 days. And I ended up choosing podcasting because I figured that would be the easiest way to deliver content, because sometimes I get stuck on like trying to, you know, type out my content. So I'd rather just like speak it first and then maybe transcribe it, like, you know, into writing later on. At first, at the beginning, it was just audio, just me recording some episodes, like maybe 5 to 20 minutes long. But then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to start interviewing yoga teachers or holistic coaches or just anybody in the, you know, holistic environment practice. And then I just started asking around for people who was interested in to be interviewed.
Oh, wow. Interesting. How funny.
And now I'm really enjoying it. I'm talking to people from all over the place, all over the world. And, you know, they do retreats, they do reiki with yoga. Never knew it was that common. And so it's really interesting.
How fun. Oh, good.
So, yeah. Thank you again for being on, and I'll share all your links and your information. And if anybody has any questions about any of the topics you mentioned, they can reach out to you.
Perfect. Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.